Yes, friends, let us have a discussion related to the classification of organic molecules. If I take one organic molecule into consideration, then the same organic molecule with itself is known as homomer. Homomer is nothing but the same molecule and the another same molecule. Such kind of compounds are said to be homomers. Molecule with itself is maintaining similarity in all varieties of physical properties, chemical properties, formula and the structural related properties. Hence, that is same. Hence, we will use the word it as homomer. Homomer is the same compound. Homomer is same. It is having similar properties, not similar, same properties in all respects. Such kind of compounds one to other, nothing but what the same compound with itself is known as homomer. Whereas if a compound and the other compound is having difference in properties, then those of all with the same molecular formula are said to be isomers to one another. Here they are maintaining same molecular formula in homomer, same structural connectivities, same stereo three-dimensional stereo arrangement is also remains same. Physical properties, chemical properties in all respects same. I took instead of one molecule more than one molecules. Then interrelation present between the same molecules is known as homomerism, and those compounds are known as homomers. Whereas with the same molecular formula, if they differed at properties, then those of all are said to be the isomers. And isomers on behalf of connectivity and non-connectivity are divided into categories as we discussed in the early classes of isomerism. Those which are differed in connectivities, the connectivity difference may lead to functional group changes, may lead to open chain to ring compounds and many other changes. Connectivity is differed at least at one atom. Such kind of substances are said to be structural isomers. Whereas the other case where the connectivities remain same, whatever the carbon atoms in structure 1 and structure 2 maintains the same connectivities, but thing is the three-dimensional, otherwise the available space for their connectivities orientation is differed. Such kind of things are said to be the stereoisomers, and those stereoisomers are once again divided into two categories, like first one is enantiomer and second one is diastereomer. For every compound, if possible, there exists only one enantiomer, but it may consisting many number of diastereomers. To say two compounds are having enantiomeric relationship, here the first two, the number one relation is those two should be optically active, and number two condition is those two are mirror images to one another, and number three condition is they are non-superimposable. If these conditions are satisfied, then those two compounds are said to be enantiomers to one another. And if you look at the optical rotational value, specific rotational value, the quantity of specific rotation, the magnitude of specific rotation remains same, but the sign convention changes. One is having some positive value, other is having the same with the negative value. And a diastereomer, stereoisomers, whichever are not the enantiomers to one another, then remaining all are said to be what? Diastereomers to one another. There may be for one compound, for compound A, there may be many number of diastereomers. Diastereomers, both of them can be optically active, both of them can be optically inactive, one can be optically active, one can be optically inactive, and they are not maintaining any relations like superimposition is not valid, mirror image relation is not valid. Thus, compounds whichever are non-enantiomers to one another, isomers whichever are not enantiomers to one another, those of all compounds are known as diastereomers to one another. There are some other technical terms like stereogenic center as well as chiral center. We will explain those things, then we will come for the remaining part of discussion. Yes, list of properties for the different technical terms present in the homomers as well as the heteromers, that is isomers present in the organic molecules. Yes, as we discussed, the homomer, compound with itself, molecule with itself, that is same. Hence, those of all are said to be the homomers. In all respects, the two molecules are same in all varieties of properties, from molecular formula, structural connectivity, stereochemical arrangement of connectivities with respect to every atom, the dipole moment, action towards light, physical properties, chemical properties with chiral molecules. In everywhere, those two molecules are same. Such kind of molecules are said to be homomers to one another. Whereas heteromers, the difference containing molecules are said to be what? Isomers. Whereas heteromers is a broad title. Whereas one variety of heteromer is said to be the isomer. Whereas to become isomer, there should be some logical relation. The logical relation is here molecular formula should be same. And whereas these particular heteromers of category enantiomers and diastereomers, in which way they are different from one another? Yes, they are maintaining same molecular formula, whichever compounds we are considering it as enantiomers, both of them are having same molecular formula. Whatever you are feeling it as diastereomers should also associated with the same formula, so therefore same molecular formula should be there. And structural connectivities, every atom should be connected by specific valencies in isomer 1 as well as isomer 2 of enantiomers as well as the diastereomers. And the stereochemical arrangement, if you look at the three-dimensional space available for the tetrahedral molecule, whereas a specific orientation should be there, and that orientation should be stereochemical adjustment. We can say in enantiomers what happens is that stereochemical adjustment will be differed from one another, whereas in case of diastereomers, structural connectivities remain same, and here also the stereochemical adjustment will be differed. So therefore these two doesn't follows the stereochemical same stereochemical adjustment is not present. Next, dipole moment, as being the enantiomers are maintaining same connectivities, the dipole moment remains same, so therefore there won't be any change in dipole moment. Enantiomers are having same dipole moment, whereas diastereomers, here the connectivities remain same, but whereas the connectivity difference occurs at the double bond positions. Due to this reason, here dipole moments are not same. Here tick mark stands for the same, whereas into mark stands for the difference. Whereas action towards the light, if I take the enantiomers behave differently with respect to the plane polarized light, whereas diastereomers are optically inactive generally, and some of them are optically active. They also differs in reactivity towards the plane polarized light. Physical properties of enantiomers are same, whereas physical properties of diastereomers are different from one another. Chemical properties of enantiomers with respect to the achiral carbons containing, that is symmetric molecules, is same in all respects. Here they will be differed. Similarly, chemical properties with the asymmetric molecules, that is chiral carbons containing molecules, are different, whereas here also they will be differed. Thus molecular formula remains same, structural connectivities remain same. The structural connectivities arrangement is differed in both. Dipole moment is same, whereas dipole moment will be differed. Action towards light is differed. Here physical properties are same, here differed. Chemical properties are same with respect to symmetric molecules, these are differed. Chemical properties with respect to asymmetric molecules, that is chiral carbons associated molecules, are different, they will be different. Thus in many respects what happens is enantiomers are different from the diastereomers. Thus separation of diastereomers becomes easy compared to the separation of enantiomers. Enantiomer separation requires a special techniques. The special techniques help only, with the help of these special techniques only enantiomers can be separated, but whereas by normal techniques diastereomers can be separated from one another, because here they are having same physical properties, implies melting point, boiling point, all things remain same. Whereas in case of diastereomers there is a large difference. In case of melting point, physical properties like boiling point, etc., they can be separated one from other by the easy methods like physical methods, but for the enantiomer separation always physical methods are not eligible. Sometimes we have to go for the chemical methods also, by making that one to react with the chiral reagents. After combination with the chiral reagents, they are converted as new compounds which are having diastereomeric relation with one another. They are differed in the physical properties. As a result, they can be separated one from the other in a easy manner. Here one correction, stereochemical arrangement is not same, and at the same time dipole moment is also not same in case of the diastereomers. Thus many of the properties like melting point, boiling point will be differed, hence separation becomes easy. Physical properties remain same, and action towards the non-chiral, that is symmetric molecules, is also remain same, hence the separation of enantiomers becomes difficult. Only molecular formula, structural connectivities are same, remaining all ways, remaining in all features, diastereomers are different. But whereas along with molecular formula, structural connectivity, dipole moment, physical properties, similarly followed by chemical properties with respect to the achiral, that is symmetric reagents, remain same, whereas chiral reagents followed by action towards the plane polarized light is differed in case of enantiomers. Yes, the next part is separation of enantiomers and the diastereomers. If I go for the diastereomers, diastereomers are differed in PP, physical properties, because they are maintaining different dipole moments, different melting points, different boiling points, etc. Due to this reason, diastereomers are easily separated, and those of all techniques are said to be the physical techniques. By distillation, by fractional distillation, by crystallization, by difference in their melting points, similarly by normal chromatographic techniques, in general diastereomers are separated one from the other, whereas enantiomers are having similar physical properties, same physical properties, there is no difference in the melting point, boiling point, dipole moment, etc. Hence separation of enantiomers requires a special attention, that is separation of enantiomers is generally executed by converting enantiomers to diastereomers, followed by the techniques like distillation, fractional distillation, crystallization, or normal chromatographic separation can be adapted over them, and the other techniques like physical separation can be eligible. Let us go for the separation techniques of enantiomers. Yes, there are some limited techniques for the separation of enantiomers. In first way, enantiomers are crystallized. As a result of crystallization, enantiomers are converted to crystalline state, whereas those crystals are having different in shapes. So therefore, by a careful observation, the enantiomers present in the mixture can be separated. That is the first method. Whereas the remaining methods generally consisting of the mixture of enantiomers, that is racemic mixture, is allowed to react with the chiral reagent. Their chemical reactivity differs with respect to the asymmetric chemical components. This is one of the asymmetric chemical component. On reaction with this, the enantiomer 1 is reacted with this and forms one compound. Enantiomer 2 is also combines with the B and forms a new compound. These two compounds are not same. These two are known as diastereomers. Now we will apply the normal techniques like distillation, fractional distillation, crystallization temperatures difference and solubility differences, or by using normal chromatographic methods we can separate the things. Whereas the other methods generally used for the separation of enantiomers is, that is chiral chromatography. Whatever the column chromatography we are doing for the separation of diastereomers, here instead of normal column, a asymmetric molecule binded chiral silica is taken as the adsorbent. As a result, it is acting as some chemical component which is asymmetric chemical component. On this, the adsorption ability of enantiomers will be differed. As a result, the enantiomer separation is possible. And the next method is biochemical method. In this method, a proper enzyme has to be taken and it is expected to be present in the enantiomeric mixture. As a result, it will eat one of the enantiomer, other remains free, other can be isolated. The last one is preferential adsorption method. In this preferential adsorption method, what we will do is, here chiral column, this is chemical, chiral chromatography is preferential adsorption, both are same. Here the optically active asymmetric molecules related adsorbent was taken and through this the enantiomeric mixture was sent. As a result, one of the enantiomer is tightly bonded to the adsorbent and comes late and can be separated from the other. This is preferential adsorption. And the chiral chromatography, in chiral chromatography, yes, chiral chromatography, preferential adsorption, both are same, and biochemical method followed by making that one to react with another one chemical species, followed by making them into diastereomers. followed by separation of diastereomers. By some other reactions, we will break the connectivity with respect to B, and we will convert that separated diastereomers to the original enantiomeric compounds. Like this, by converting them to diastereomers followed by normal techniques, or by in original way by making them to react with the biochemical methods like enzymes, or by making them to react with the chiral chromatography, that is preferential adsorption methods. Generally these enantiomers are going to be separated. A historical interest related to the separation of enantiomers is after making them crystals, their crystal shapes are differed in some cases, and those are separated one from the other. That is by the crystal shape of the different crystal shapes of the enantiomers separation, but that is having a little use applied for the first time, and it is having little applications for the separation of enantiomers. Yes, there are two technical terms, that is separation of enantiomers. The technique that we will use for the separation of enantiomers by any of these methods, the way in which enantiomers are separated from one another from the mixture, that is racemic mixture is converted into independent enantiomers, separated enantiomers, such kind of process is said to be the resolution process. Whereas from one of the optically active compound, if I prepare compound followed by its enantiomeric mixture, that particular process is said to be racemization. Racemization is conversion of enantiomers to racemic mixture, whereas resolution is conversion of racemic mixture, otherwise separation of components, separation of enantiomers present in the racemic mixture to separated enantiomers, or enantiomers are to be separated at different pots without having any kind of mixing, that is separation of enantiomers is known as dissolution. Whereas conversion of one of the optical active compound to a mixture of it followed by its enantiomer is said to be what? Racemization. These two are complete reverse things. Combination is converted to independent separate things, resolution. Whereas one particular isomer is converted to it followed by its enantiomeric mixture, that is said to be what? Racemization. Yes, in organic chemistry, we oftenly come across the words like stereogenic center followed by chiral center. Then what is the meaning of stereogenic center and what is the meaning of chiral center, and what makes the difference between them? Let us have a discussion by taking a simple organic molecule as an example. Here I am taking one example in which one double bond is present in the organic molecule followed by one asymmetric carbon connected with 4 different valencies are present. Now in this molecule, as if I go for this particular carbon atom, carbon connected with 4 different groups, one is methyl, one is this particular bulky aliphatic group, followed by OH group is there, as well as Cl group is there. Suppose on changing any two groups position, one with respect to the other, as a result, if the optical activity of the substance changes, otherwise the chirality of the molecule changes, then that particular point is nothing but what? Atom. With respect to that particular atom, on changing any two groups, on interchanging any two groups present on the atom, if stereochemistry changes, if chirality changes, that particular point is said to be chiral center. Suppose on this carbon atom, I am making it as round. If I change chlorine followed by OH followed by chlorine, then molecule appears like this. This is chlorine, and here, this is OH followed by this is chlorine, and remaining things are remained as it is. By interchanging, this compound is different, this compound is different, its optical activity is different, its optical activity is different. Thus, by interchanging any two groups present on a particular point, nothing but atom in the structure, if the stereochemistry changes, if optical activity changes, that particular center is said to be chiral center. This is chiral center. Whereas by changing the groups or the valencies present on a particular point in the structure, chirality doesn't changes, but here stereochemistry changes. Such kind of atom or the center present in the molecule, with respect to that center, that molecule is having stereogenicity. It is responsible for generation of stereochemistry, different stereochemistry, hence that is said to be stereogenic center. Let us come for this particular center. Here I am having hydrogen. Here I am having hydrogen. I am making this particular carbon. If I interchange the groups like hydrogen by this particular group and this particular group by hydrogen, then trans stereochemistry is converted to cis stereochemistry. Such kind of atom or the point or the center, if it is present, and that center is said to be stereogenic center. With respect to the stereogenic center, stereochemistry changes, that is Ez isomerism, cis trans isomerism will interchanges one with the other, whereas with respect to change of the groups present on the molecule, if stereochemistry changes, like R configuration is converted to S configuration, optical activity of molecule changes to the other, such kind of center is said to be the chiral center, and this center is said to be the stereogenic center. Thus what we can say is every chiral center is stereogenic. Every chiral is stereogenic, but every stereogenic may or may not be chiral, may not be a chiral center. Thus, stereogenic center is a common word that can be either sp2 hybridized carbon or sp3 hybridized carbon in case of carbon content, or if any other atom is there, it may be having saturation, it may be having unsaturation. By interchanging the groups present on the atom, if stereochemistry changes, then those of all are said to be what stereogenic center. A special case of stereogenic center where interchanging of the groups will result different isomer, different optical activity, different configurations, then such kind of centers are said to be the chiral center. Thus, as a result of this discussion, as a conclusion, what we can claim is every chiral center is a stereogenic center, but every stereogenic center may or may not be the chiral center. And suppose in this molecule, this center is stereogenic center, this is not the chiral center because it doesn't offers any kind of chirality to the molecule. And this particular center is also a stereogenic center, but it is not the chiral center because interchanging of the groups gives different stereoisomerism. That is not the chiral. That doesn't make the molecule as different asymmetric molecule. Whatever asymmetry is present, that remained as it is. So therefore, this center and this center are just stereogenic centers. These are not the chiral centers. But this is offering different stereochemistry and different chirality is present. Hence, this is not only stereogenic center, this is chiral center. Hence, every chiral center is stereogenic, but every stereogenic center may or may not be the chiral center. Every chiral center with respect to the carbon is sp3 hybridized, whereas every stereogenic center with respect to the carbon, maybe it is having sp3 hybridization, maybe it is having sp2 hybridization also. That makes the difference between chiral center as well as stereogenic centers. Yes, there is a special technical word known as pseudo-asymmetric centers or the pseudo-chiral centers. In mesomolecules, generally we will face this particular word as pseudo-asymmetric center or the pseudo-chiral center. Let us go for this meso compound consisting of 3, that is odd number of carbons, odd number of chiral carbons, expected chiral carbons are odd in number. Whereas in this case, in this Fischer presentation, if you look at, whereas the top portion and the bottom portion is same, so therefore these are mirror images to one another. Hence this is optically inactive, and this particular compound is said to be the meso compound, that is having chiral centers, but molecule is becoming symmetric, molecule is becoming achiral. Though it is having chiral centers, it becomes optically inactive due to having of symmetry in the molecule. Such kind of molecules are known as meso compounds or the meso molecules. In case of these meso molecules, the stereochemistry is given for the meso carbon atom in such a way that the meso consisting carbon, meso nature containing carbon is having a special nature. It appears to be chiral, but it is connected with the same groups. Hence it is not chiral. Such kind of centers are said to be the pseudo-asymmetric centers. Appears to be asymmetric, but they are not asymmetric, are said to be the pseudo-asymmetric centers or the pseudo-chiral centers. While naming of the pseudo-asymmetric centers, generally whatever the configurations are given as R and S, Those capital R and capital S are not provided for the carbons of the corresponding mesoconnectivities. These are given as small r followed by small s. In this way, these are going to be indicated. And in giving configuration, the normal rules of configuration are applied, followed by R priority as given. R configuration and S configurations are connected to this, and R configurations of symmetric and S configurations of symmetric connectivities. In between them, in competition, R configuration is given as higher importance or higher priority as per that its configuration is decided, and that has to be indicated by small r followed by the small s. This is the pseudo asymmetric centers containing configurations present in the mesomolecules. There is another technical word in organic chemistry, that is prochiral centers. Centers which are not the chiral in the beginning, but due to the some transformation, these are converted as chiral centers either in single step or in two steps. Such kind of carbon atoms present in the organic molecules which are achiral in the beginning, but whereas they are converted as chiral are said to be the prochiral centers. See, in this molecule, this particular carbon atom is achiral in nature because it is having two similar groups like hydrogen and hydrogen. If one of the group is replaced by other, then it is becoming chiral. Such kind of centers, such kind of carbon atoms in which if one group replacement leads to the chirality in the molecule, such kind of centers are said to be the prochiral centers. Here, if this hydrogen is replaced by deuterium, it is becoming chiral. In the beginning it is achiral. In the beginning it is achiral. This achiral is converted as chiral. Hence, this particular carbon atom center present in the molecule is said to be the prochiral center. Similarly, here, this is the center which is achiral in nature, but after replacement of one of the two same connectivities with the other, it has converted as chiral. It has converted as chiral. Hence, this center is also said to be the prochiral center. And in case of aldehydes here, on chemical transformation by making this one to react with some XY, it was converted as, by participation in some reaction, it is converted as chiral. Now this is achiral in the beginning, that achiral is converted as chiral. These are all centers present in the molecules which are achiral in the beginning, but due to that chemical reaction, those of all are converted as chiral in nature. Such kind of all centers are generally said to be prochiral center. Before one step to convert towards the chirality are said to be the prochiral center. This may be either sp3 hybridization, this may have either the sp2 hybridization. And once again, prochirals are divided into categories like enantiotropic prochiral centers and diastereotropic prochiral centers. Let us see. This doesn't have any kind of asymmetry in the molecule. Molecule is symmetrical. This carbon atom is having two same valencies. If I replace one of the valency of the similarity containing two, that will become chiral. Whereas if I interchange, this hydrogen is replaced by deuterium and this hydrogen is replaced by deuterium. As a result, it is becoming chiral, and those two are enantiomers to one another. Hence, this prochiral center is said to be enantiotropic prochiral center. Whereas in the second case, molecule on its own is asymmetric in nature, followed by, if further replacement occurs, the two similar groups, if they are substituted by other groups, any one of them is substituted by other groups, as a result it is converted as another chiral center. Molecule is becoming asymmetric. Asymmetric molecule is converted as, once again, further complicated asymmetric molecule. Chirality changes, hence this is prochiral. This prochirality offers diastereomerism because this is a fixed center. And here this relation is diastereomers. Here and here this relation is diastereomers to one another. Thus the obtained compounds are diastereomers to one another. Hence those are said to be diastereotropic prochiral centers. Here also, if it is not having any kind of chiral center, this carbon is said to be enantiotropic prochiral center. Suppose if it is having some chiral carbon in this R, then R is chiral followed by now new carbon is obtained with the chirality. With respect to this fixed chirality, these two variations are having diastereomeric relation. Hence, this particular C double bond O sp2 carbon is known as diastereotropic prochiral center. Next, in the stereoisomerism, we will discuss the identifications of configurations, R and S configuration, rules for the RS configurations, that is CIP rules, Kong-Ingard-Prelog rules to identify the configurations, and the enantiomeric and the diastereomeric appearance in the symmetric molecules, followed by enantiomeric relations, enantiomeric excess, diastereomeric excess, followed by their corresponding specific rotation calculations, and the other atom and chiral molecules related discussion we will do. Then after we will go for the conformational isomers and the strain present in the cyclic systems in association with this, and the equatorial and the axial positions present in the cyclohexane system. These things we will discuss as a part of stereochemistry.